Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to Three Men, One Cast. My name is Kurtis Spencer, but today we're going to call ourselves Four Men, One Cast. To the left of me is Peter Kent.
Hello.
To the right of me is Ryan Bingham.
Hi.
And in front of me is Yogo.
Hello.
Okay, so it's been a few weeks since we've done the pilot one, and due to the comments and the rally for another one, when's the next one, we are back by popular demand, so thank you for that, fans. We're going to go in on the first topic, which I think will generate a lot of debate, and the first topic is top 5 hip-hop albums
Of all time.
So I'm going to throw this to Ryan for the simple fact to kick it off, because I know Ryan had a great music collection when we were kids. So, and then we'll skip it.
Okay, so my top 5 isn't necessarily, nostalgia.
What's it based on?
It's based on what I like. So it's not. What else can it be based on, Curtis?
Okay.
Maybe you could argue it could be like cultural impact, etc. But
Music, the change in music.
yeah,
as
that's
well.
what I mean. Cultural impact.
Okay,
So
yeah, sorry.
my top 5. To starting, I think the GOAT album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye. It's unbelievable. Curtis is shaking his head.
That's a great album.
It is.
It's a great It's the GOAT album in my opinion.
Okay.
Number 2 in my list would be Illmatic, which is just it's quality start to finish. Number 3, don't know, maybe Life After Death. Come back to me with me the bottom 3. I know me top 2, but there is a good few.
No Tupac in there, interesting.
No,
There'll be
definitely
no
not.
Tupac in my top 10.
Tupac hasn't
There's
made
no
a great
album, is
album.
there?
you
And
could
it's
argue.
on East Coast as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I've got
Oh,
older,
that was 2. How many of it just came
Kanye
out?
West was
Kanye
on.
West.
Kanye
Oh no,
West.
Kanye West. Yeah,
So that's
sorry.
the first.
As
one.
I've got older though, I've come to appreciate East Coast hip hop more.
Yeah. What's yours then, Giorgo?
So we've got it, like nostalgia has to be part of it because we grew up in the 90s, yeah. So it's what I remember growing up on. My 2 favourite albums as a kid was Dr. Dre's album 2001.
That's in my top 5 as well.
And the other one that I loved, I know this might not be the others, but the Wu-Tang album 36 Chambers.
Okay.
There was a song on that called Tears that me and my brother just played the fucking song over and over again until the CD was just scratched like so I loved them. And then I'd have to put Illmatic in there just because I'd have to put Illmatic in there because it's so good. And I can't really think of others right yet, but I will do.
Okay.
I'm just going to say it now. Half of our albums are going to be pretty much the same.
Nah, I don't think they will.
I've got
Yeah, but you've got some albums are just classic albums, aren't they?
yeah, that's what I mean. I've got My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That's in there. 2001. That's in there. Ready to Die. That's in there.
Yeah.
Illmatic might just scrape like the 5th place, but other than that, I'm going to throw out there as an absolute belter of an album, and I'll probably get lynched for this. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying as an
I
album.
love that album back then.
As an album.
I agree. I agree. Do you know why? Do you know why
I think it's just due to the fact of what I like to listen to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And me thinking back, listening to that album, I don't remember skipping a song on that album.
But can you reckon though, Peter, if you're going on that criteria, that's a better album than Marshall Mathers LP?
I don't
Marshall
think
Mathers LP
Is that can't be a better album than Marshall?
It's a coin toss for me.
No, but I think you go by what he likes.
No, I know, but
yeah,
It's all suggestive. It's subjective in it. So.
Do you know what's funny about that? I'll tell my albums and then I'll go into why I totally agree with Peter. First off is Ready to Die, because I just think that is the production on it isn't that good, but the bars are just, for me, unbelievable. Second, let's think, Life After Death.
Is this going to be like the top 5 Biggie albums?
The Born Again album is number 3, isn't it?
No, no. I'm gonna go with the Marshall Mathers LP.
Yeah.
Number 3. I can't really go past. If you're gonna push me, See, because there's loads, I know everyone's done it, but I can't, there's a few, like, Kanye West would be in there, the Eminem show would be in there for me,
Yeah.
50 Cent would be in there as well.
Ones that I've
Sonic.
just thought of, which is definitely my third album, would probably be The Blueprint, Jay-Z.
The Black Album for me as
The
well.
first
that-
Yeah.
Jay-Z's first, the first Blueprint was quality, just as a curveball, which I think
think,
Giorgo will have heard it, but
Go on, man.
yous may not have, is Reflection Eternal, Talib Kweli
yeah.
and Haida. That's a proper sick album.
I've never-
So,
What's the album called though? It's called
Train of Thought.
Train of Thought, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Like, it's one of those that's a bit smooth for me, but it's sick. I can see why you
Yeah,
like it.
it's one of them. I can just listen to that one.
See, what, just to go on to what Peter said, I think that's valid, and that's why I love Get Rich or Die Trying, because that's probably one of the only albums that once I've become familiar with it, and I include Biggie's albums in this, and I'm a big Biggie fan, that I didn't need to skip a track. Not one track over time,
Yeah.
but I can't be asked with that.
Yeah, but
See,
I've
this is-
listened to that recently as
Would you-
well.
would
and
you-
it-
would you
it
say
stands, you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's good.
See,
the
this-
other albums that we're speaking about, though, I'd say that's what makes a classic album.
Yeah,
not
this-
much.
Yeah, I'll throw it out there. Like you said, the Black Album.
Hmm.
Have you listened to that recently?
No.
I have, and it sounds proper dated.
Yeah.
Like whereas,
The Blueprint's a well better album. Than
yeah,
This is the thing, like with albums, you can you could put a CD together now with a load of songs on that are boss, but it wouldn't necessarily play. For me, a great album is where you press it on at the beginning and you sit there and listen to it, and it's kind of like watching a movie. It's just you don't change, you don't stop it, you don't skip it. You
Yeah,
don't,
it
I don't
just
really
goes
like this
through,
song.
yeah.
It just plays. On that note, one I'm like, you probably I know Ryan knows about this album. One of the Wu-Tang solo members had an album that I liked when I was young, but then liked more as I got older, called Liquid Swords, by the Genius, who was in the Wu-Tang, and that's one of my favourite albums. So I've got to put it in there because I can only go with what I like.
Would
You know
you-
what I mean?
There's a few here that we've overlooked.
And that's one of those albums
Just throw some
where
out there.
that's one of those albums where it has all like movie samples, you know,
Yeah.
like all this kung fu stuff in, and you just listen to it all the way through, and it's the samples, the movie dialogue is like it goes with the songs and that. It's sick to listen to.
Would you not have Good Kid, Mad City?
Well, we've missed that. We've
Yeah,
missed
maybe.
Lauryn Hill, Miseducation,
I wouldn't class that
I
as a
would
hip
put
hop
that
album.
there as a
Okay.
hip-hop album.
All Eyes on Me,
No.
That wouldn't even make it for me.
Reasonable Doubt, The Doggy Style, The
Reasonable
Chronic,
Doubt, yeah. Doggy Style, never liked it.
Would
to
you
be
not
honest.
say that albums are quite old?
The Fugees.
Like nowadays, people don't listen to albums.
Yeah, like
as
the way
much.
I've been saying.
Yeah, they don't listen back to front. It's more about singles.
Songs, yeah,
A lot of
exactly.
people are famous,
Yeah.
but then if
That's
no
shit
one's
though,
ever
man.
heard, no one's ever heard an album.
But
of them.
Kendrick's album, I think, is a proper album.
No, but
Good Kid, Mad City.
All Kendrick's albums have been classics. And what I will say about what you said, Giorgio, about an album having to, it's like a film. If you listen to Pimp a Butterfly, the second album,
I still haven't listened to
if you throw them songs on individually, they're not great, and you actually
But
have
it
to
plays
listen to
together.
it. You have to actually listen to the whole thing. But if I said, "Oh, where's 3 songs from it?" you might think them songs are okay,
Yeah.
but as part of the bigger thing, they go. So
Interesting that J. Cole didn't make anyone's.
J. Cole
I've
makes
only
good
said
albums.
four.
J.
I've
Cole
only
does
said
not
four,
make a
as
classic
you
album.
made a
at the
classic,
minute.
yeah.
Have you got like a list there of stuff what other people have said?
I've got there's a list that I've just pulled up here.
Is there an album in there called Mad Villainy?
No, I'll read it out. Number 1, Illmatic, Nas. Obviously, it's not from an official list. So, number 2, Marshall Mathers LP.
Oh yeah.
3, 36 Chambers. 4, All Eyes on Me. Totally disagree. 5, Ready to Die. Well, we already know this. Fucking this stupid. Chronic, Dr.
The
Dre.
See,
first one.
I rate 2001 better than the Chronic
Yeah,
myself.
I think
Ooh,
so. But I was at
But
that
it's not.
age,
It's
though,
not.
you
It's
see.
not rated as better
Yeah.
though.
No, I don't think it is.
Straight Outta Compton, number 7. Reasonable Doubt, number 8. Me Against the World, number 9. And Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar.
Good Kid, Mad City is
It's a great album. It's just not one of my personal. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it at the time, but I don't listen to it now.
What albums then? And I don't know whether this is a silly
Have you
question.
noticed though, like the albums that we've all picked there was all come from a time where when you were listening to it, weren't like you were in and out the car or something. You'd had it on like a CD player
Yeah,
or something like
No,
You'd
that.
at the time.
Would you
you
say
were
My
just
Beautiful Dark
banging
Twisted
it.
Fancy is only?
That was
That's a
yeah,
throwback
sorry,
album
yeah,
for me,
that,
though,
that's
you
a
know.
bit recent, isn't it? So
You
I
see,
suppose that's the
but
exception to that.
7 years or so now. Like,
Yeah.
But you know why I like that album though? Because when I heard it, it shocked me that the style of the album, Kanye West to me wasn't doing that kind of music at that particular time, and then he exploded with this like a throwback album. Lad. It was like a throwback.
The whole
to me,
thing
yeah.
of the album, like at the
It was
time, I
amazing.
remember
Loved
me
it.
and Yogo were like, every song was, if you read about how it was all done, it was an old school feel. Like Kanye
Yeah.
took everyone out to Hawaii.
Yeah, he took all his old
Yeah,
favourite
the-
90s producers like RZA and DJ Premier
Yeah,
to Hawaii
took
to
them
help
out
him with
and there's a verse on it.
You can tell.
On
Oh,
Sober
yeah.
Paul, that
Yeah.
I think some guy, a producer, I can't remember his name, but he drops like a great verse. But what happened? He basically he listened to the song.
Is
And
it that
every-
Sci-Hi the Prince?
Sci the Prince, that's the one.
Yeah.
Everyone had fell asleep in the studio.
That's the
And
best
he
verse on that song.
kept on asking, can you get on, can you get on? And they were like, no, because he was unknown, he was just open on the album. But then everyone fell asleep or something. So he went in and just recorded the verse.
Yeah.
And then when they came back in, it was just playing. And that's how he got on the album.
That's
So
it.
That is
Nah,
a sick album.
that's the best verse on that song as well.
One
Yeah.
thing, you know, like hip hop fucking snobs in that they make out, you know, Kanye West is a good producer, but he's not much of a rapper. But on that song, there's a song on that album. Sorry, there's a song called "Gorgeous," like
Yeah.
one of the early
The
songs,
Drake one.
and he fucking kills it. Like,
Yeah.
But would you not argue?
kills it. But better, he outshines Raekwon on the track.
Would
Do you reckon he's had a ghostwriter for that album?
But he has had, he's had a ghostwriter.
He's a
before the
ghostwriter,
album.
and yeah, he's not a great.
So that's what I was.
lyricist, yeah.
That's just
But-
what I was about to say. Like, if you're being
Yeah.
a snob about it, you could argue
No, fair enough.
that
Yeah.
he's not. But
You can't consider him in great MCs
But
for
I've-
me
I've-
if you're getting a ghostwriter.
I've heard people though who were like ghostwriters, and it shows though there's more to being an MC, because you get someone like that Quentin Miller, for example, get him rapping Drake's bars that he wrote
Yeah.
for him, don't sound the same.
Yeah.
You know, there's a performance element to it as well.
No,
Yeah, but that's being a good.
Nah, but Drake's sort of like
That is
bulletproof.
that's
innit?
lyricist versus.
No, I know, that's what I'm
MCs,
saying.
what?
That there isn't. It's not just because you can write something great that you're necessarily going to be the total package.
On
That's
the
what I'm
note
saying.
about ghostwriting though, I think there's probably an art to being a ghostwriter, because there's a song, a few, I think like I Need a Doctor or something, Eminem and Dr. Dre. And Dr. Dre's rapping, and I could tell right away listening to it that Eminem
I
must
love
have wrote
that
that for him, because he's rapping in Eminem's
yeah.
Like
it
the
doesn't
style,
sound like
yeah.
Dre. Whereas
Still great.
Still Dre is written by Jay-Z, yeah. And that doesn't sound like a Jay-Z style
Yeah.
song to me, it sounds like a Dr. Dre style song. So Jay-Z obviously is more better at writing songs
What-
for someone else's style.
What Jay-Z?
What did Jay-Z write about Drake?
He wrote the whole of
Still
Dre.
Yeah,
But what he said,
he
Jay-Z,
wrote that, yeah.
when Jay-Z was writing it,
And that's a
what-
complete Dr. Dre style.
Yeah.
what
song.
Jay-Z said about that is, I don't want Dr. Dre to
Sound
to
like me.
spit basically a Jay-Z
A
verse.
JC song, yeah.
I'm writing as Dr. Dre, so that's why even the way the lyrics are, they're not super lyrical or anything. It's Jay-Z said
Dre
that basically
style.
gets the mindset of what his style and writes as that.
That is.
Sick, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I need to listen to
He's
that
wrote,
song.
he's
now.
wrote a few with people's
Has he?
songs. Yeah.
So what I was going to say was, and I don't know if this is a silly question, but I'm sure I'll get thingy. What albums then do we think, if they were to come out now, what would the
It's all different, isn't it? Because if
I know
you come out with like 50 Cent, for example, now, 50 Cent's music wouldn't hit as
Different,
hard as
isn't it?
Yeah.
Different
at the
climate.
time.
It's a different.
Yeah.
It's a.
Time.
But I do think
Different
there is.
moment.
There is someone. I remember Jay-Z saying back in the day, like there is an artist like 50 Cent can come through and change the game, because if you think back to the 90s, you had like the shiny suit era and Bad Boy
Yeah.
after the Death Row era had ended, but then you got DMX, you made it more
Yeah.
raw, and then 50 Cent to an extent it starts drifting again towards more like a soft sound. But then, so if someone came now with a real hard sound and it caught like trap, like
Yeah,
proper-
trap music, done
it is there to be done, but will you see the same level of
Well,
Artistry.
superstar? I wouldn't say artistry, but it's the same music. The industry's completely changed.
Drake's a bigger superstar. Drake is definitely a bigger superstar than anyone we've known.
Yeah, no, he is. Yeah, true.
So I think,
But is his thing is? It's not like it's not true. Like it's not just hip hop though, is he? He's not. Look what he's a super. He's
Yeah,
a
he's
superstar.
branched out.
He's a
Straddling a few.
He's a superstar of like
Yeah, yeah.
of like pop music
as well as
being a good rapper.
But isn't the hip hop thingy been a bit convoluted.
To me, like when we're in like fucking 50 years, when we're talking about the greatest MCs and all that, I don't think we're gonna be talking about Drake, to be honest, with these 90s legends. Personally,
Don't you
I
think
think
so?
you look back at Drake with more nostalgia than you would though.
No,
at
you
that
will
point.
definitely look back because Drake's got the hit
The
singles that
amount of
everyone will know.
albums, the amount of albums that have spanned like us growing up now that Drake's done, you're gonna remember
More
these
Drake.
songs that are pulling out points in your life. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, yeah. For like
Drake hasn't got a
represent
great
moments,
album,
but, you know,
though.
I'm just talking about let's just like raw like fucking MC and great rappers. You can't. You think you can put Drake next to like Biggie and Jay and Nas?
I think I've had this with Bingham. I think that argument's gone now. I just think there's been so much. The times.
I think
let me
sometimes
construct
we have.
this.
Sorry, I have to say, yeah. Oh yeah, Drake. Just to sound like I'm not a hater, but I can only talk about what I think is good. And to be honest, this like can't even.
He's
hold,
one of the best.
This kind of rapping isn't even nothing like compared.
But the thing
to
is, I could argue
to me.
Kendrick could step to
Kendrick
anyone.
Lamar's amazing, yeah, but I'm talking about Drake.
No,
Like,
Drake.
Kendrick,
I don't
yeah.
think you'd think Drake is like,
Kendrick's something else, man.
you know, the greatest rapper of all time, but his music will
Kendrick's
definitely
gonna be
stick.
in that conversation
I think
for
it'll
me.
stand the test
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah.
It will
That's
stick
what I was
just
gonna
because everyone always. It's like if you throw songs on now from the 90s, even if you weren't into them, which were getting played, you'll still remember them because they were big. And Drake's got every year on year and year. He's
When
got
I
five or
the
six
one
of
thing
them.
I can say, and I was speaking to him about this, but we stopped going out regularly, and I was on the Drake boat off his mixtapes, and I think there was a little period where we went out quite frequent. Things after you come back from Napa, nearly every club we went in, and every tune the club was lit up to was a Drake tune, lad. And for me, I think that takes it away from the lyricist thing, because
Yeah, it's
for me,
important.
Yeah, so I'm
music.
being maybe a nerd about it.
no,
like a
I think
lyrics
there's
nerd
not
about-
that argument.
That's
is
my
just,
that's my
yeah,
attitude
that's a
of, man.
different realm, and I think there's only a few MCs anyway that would
That
kick the
can-
ball around in there
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, yeah.
And they've cut off, and I think that's probably stopped for me. I know Kendrick and J. Cole now. That probably stops for me at Eminem and 50 Cent era, because after that,
Would you
It's
say
not about
50
that,
Cent's a rapper?
Well,
good rapper though?
well,
I wouldn't
You
say.
see-
but it stops.
You see,
there
yeah,
for
I know
me.
what you're saying.
That's for me personally.
I get what you're saying. I'm just thinking like in the 90s, in terms of like the great
the
MCs,
raw, yeah.
we were just so spoiled. Like even the ones who aren't that as famous as like your G, like people like Mos Def and Phil
Yeah.
Munch and people like
Yeah.
it was just sick. It was
So
we were spoiled back then.
are we gonna pin ourselves down to the top 5? Should we try and let's try and bring together a
group consensus.
yes.
Okay, yeah. So I think 3 of the 4 of us had Illmatic in there, didn't we?
They all had their own man.
One thing just about Illmatic though, you know what I think about, I don't think I think you are the same with me, that I wasn't really listening to that album when I was a
No,
kid.
I only
It's
listened
something that
to
we've
that as
learned
I've
later
gone.
on.
Ready
and,
to Die's the same.
Yeah, it's something that we've
Yeah.
learned later on and thought, oh yeah, this I can see why this is talked about so
Yeah.
greatly and all that.
So that has to be in there. Illmatic. I know I'm a Biggie fan, but Ready to Die.
See,
Ready to Die is better
I'm
than-
not gonna lie, like for me, the controversial. I've never been able to get into Ready to Die, and I've only ever
So Red Tie's the first
Ready
one,
to
yeah?
Die-
To me,
Life
that's
After
the better one,
After
yeah.
Ready to
Death
Die
for
is
me
the
was
best
the better
album.
one. I just everything about Life
So
After Death,
that's
the
like-
bars kicking the door.
I don't know, maybe it's because I listened to it as an adult and
But
just
yeah,
thought,
but I think the thing in Life After Death as well, maybe that was like the first album I ever bought.
bought
So
yourself.
Yeah.
that nostalgia obviously may play part.
So how many people had that album in then? Did you had Ready to Die, did you?
No, I had Life After Death.
And so did you, didn't you?
Yeah, I had
Yeah,
Ready to Die, but not Life After Death. I prefer Ready to Die over Life
I
After
can't
Death.
see. I mean, with that, because you're into Biggie more than me,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you have like more of a thing about what you like more of, and whereas for me it's just the standard answer, which is Ready to Die.
It is like
It's the
it's
standard
like a
answer.
Okay, so we've got Illmatic. Not in any particular order because we've been fucking here
Yeah,
for
fuck that.
days.
Yeah.
Illmatic, Life After Death.
Kanye would have to be in there for me.
Me and him both said Dr. Dre 2001. didn't we?
2001, yeah.
2001, I can live
Yeah,
with that. That's a great
that's got
album.
to be in there.
My Wu-Tang album.
That was the first
make the
album I
cut,
ever
mate.
bought.
I'm happy to be the
My Digital
hipster.
Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I would
I'd
put
put
that
that
in the
in
top
there.
5.
And we've got room for one more.
Marshall Mathers output,
Fine.
which is the consensus.
Did you say that?
It's not for me, but like I'm happy to take it on the chin.
As I said, that'd be a coin toss.
So
with,
I loved it. Like,
What about Good
back
Kid,
in the
Mad
day.
City versus Marshall Mathers then?
What's a better album? That's tough, isn't
Marshall
it? Yeah.
Mathers, I think, personally.
I haven't listened to
I
Good
mean,
Kid,
the
Mad City.
nostalgia factor is going to win
The
that one for me.
nostalgia
Yeah.
I
factor,
think
but
that's
Good
why
Kid,
that
Mad
is.
City
Good
is
Kid, Mad City.
unreal.
But there's a couple of songs in that Good Kid, Mad City, lad. The one that's actually called Mad City.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Just before we
really
move
joke.
on from this topic, I just think it'd be interesting to see, pick an album that you think kind of was different from what was going on, but stood out and you were like, this is a body of work. This is different from, let's say
Yeah.
you listen to Life
That-
After Death. This is different, but this is unreal. And I think for me, that'll be Marshall Mathers.
No.
For me, the album which was like that, which once again, I know I'm a bit of a stan, but
It's gonna be Kanye West.
College Dropout. At the time, I'd never heard anything
Yeah.
like it. I'd never heard anything, and it was like a. I'm not.
Jesus Walks.
I'm
when
not-
I first heard that.
I'm not saying that he was the first. I know I know shout at me. But I'm not saying he's the first person to ever make that music, but for our generation, that was the first time. Like the heavy
the
samples
sampling.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For me, that what you've just described, that's just exactly what Wu-Tang did to me when I was a kid. Because I was listening to gangster rap at that time, and then all of a sudden there was this clever lyricism, fucking raw beats, 30, and all these albums like 36 Chambers, Liquid Swords, Only Built for Cuban Links, Ghostface was in there, Method Man's albums. Yeah, like Wu-Tang blew me
Wu-Tang.
mind. A total different fucking,
To what's going
a
on.
different window.
Yeah,
It took
yeah.
me in a different room, you know, and I loved it in that room.
What's yours then, Peter?
I'd have to go with a Kanye West album. You know what? 808 for me was different. It's not like, I don't know.
It's not perceived as
not
a classic, but it was a completely change of sound.
It was
Isn't it?
a completely different direction to what you'd normally hear as a Kanye West album, and that album for me is one of the most underrated albums.
The 808 album.
Kanye
Yeah,
West is like
808
that
and
though.
I've never heard that, but people
Honestly,
thought
at
it
the
wasn't
time,
that good,
people
yeah.
were giving it stick,
Because
and
he
then
auto-tuned.
the more
when
you
you
listen
listen
to
to
it, and like it's completely different to any other Kanye album, and
We've done that with
it's
Jesus.
really good.
He's
Yeah,
like,
like,
yeah,
really
that,
good
do
album.
you know what? It's kind of like, again, we move on from this music thing, but I've got another one to throw in there.
Another question.
Yeah, which I think, who's our best producer and why? Because, you know why I asked this, and this might just be me not being up on it.
Is where he pulls out Timberland.
No,
isn't it?
that's what made me start thinking about it. I remember Yink used to always go on about Swiss Beats, and I know we had his things. You'd hear the beat, who's that Swiss Beats? But I was always on Timbo all the while.
Timberland makes excellent R&B beats. Excellent.
Ugly.
No,
Yeah,
that's
these
my
are
God.
standard.
I know it
Is
is.
that your chick? Come on, they're bangers, bro. Is that your chick? Is
No,
a
but
tune.
it's one of them. He can make the odd
Mm.
like beat.
Yeah.
That's great. But for the most part, Timberland's gonna be remembered for like R&B
stuff.
beats.
Yeah, that's what I think.
What
I like
Timberland-
Missy Elliott and
Yeah.
that.
What
Yeah.
Timbo does though, what he used to do anyway, before he started being a fucking talent show, what we've just said there, you wouldn't hear from him, and then he'd come back.
All it
Wait.
was when Justin
It makes
Timberlake
some
needed
big
an
hits.
album. Just decided to come out of fucking
Go ahead,
whatever
just before
stone
we
he was
move
hiding
on from the
under.
music, who's our best producers and why? And
I used to always think, to be honest, that it was Dr. Dre, and
Yeah. I always grew up with
the
that
thing why I had Dr. Dre was, if you think about like his impact of what he actually done, NWA, Death Row, then Aftermath, Eminem, 50 Cent. You know, it's like 3 or 4 massive times in
that-
hip hop.
that-
But what I will say is, upon further investigation, I was quite disappointed because a lot of his songs are just straight rips. He's great at picking a song which you'll hear and think
What
you
do you mean,
wouldn't
sorry?
you wouldn't put that as a hip hop, because a lot of it, like I've seen Kanye West sample, and he samples, he speeds it up, he does things. A lot of Dr. Dre's, I could play you
yeah,
the song that it's sampled, and
Oh,
it's
and
exactly
it's
the
the
same.
same, yeah.
It's exactly the same.
Kanye
just
West,
chops
I read,
pieces.
but Kanye West studied RZA's style of production. That's one of his idols for that kind of thing. Where when you look at the sample, you can't recognise that from that beat that you're listening to. So how they made it, I don't know. So if Dr. Dre's got a more simple style, then that's
Dr.
a bit
Dre has
disappointing.
got, yeah, it is disappointing because I always just had him as number one just based on like, not necessarily they're my favourite beats, but based on, you know, he's actually being the main force of massive
yeah, that.
an
And
empire
I'd have to
basically.
say that Dre myself, just from the fact of, as you say, the amount of like artists that have sort of been making bangers. Like Eminem's albums are just class. 50s albums were all Dre produced.
Dr. Dre made
class.
some good fucking beats
Snoop's,
for Exhibit as well.
Exhibit.
Whole West
It's
Coast.
the fucking
Yeah.
Exhibit, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready to move on from this? Because it's bad.
Yeah, we could do like
It's
a full
okay,
pod
but
just
fair
on
enough.
this, but I think it's probably best we.
That was
have a
good
little
though.
look at it.
So, sticking with the nostalgia and thingy feed, things from the 90s that we remember. Now, this doesn't have to be necessarily like things like music or whatever, just like cultures or attitudes toward things. And why I say this, and she'll probably kill me. The other day, Lisa's son, he started year 7 and he got lost on Picton Road. And I don't know if that's a thing of us as kids, we got lost on Picton Road.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Like, where's let's
Why
have some
wouldn't you
context.
get lost?
What area has he been predominantly raised in?
Why would he just know
Old
where
Swan.
Picton Road
So
is?
he's raised outside
Pick them
of
up.
Wavertree, so he's not gonna know Wavertree. It's like if I pick you up as a child and drop you off in Stockbridge Village, are you gonna know where you're going?
No, but why I say this,
You know what I
when
mean?
we,
You know what I mean?
What
Wait,
the
wait there, can I just, we need to delve a bit further into this. Why couldn't you get lost? What? I don't want to know your line of thinking here because he's never been there. So if I dropped you off somewhere now, you just will magically know where
no,
you
but
are.
you know why?
Exactly.
I'll tell you why. Because when we were in school, and this is why because I always have this conversation with it about the children, and I'm like, why is this going on? Because when maybe I'm looking back with
You know,
rose tints.
very good.
Like we were all mad navigators when we were kids.
The difference may be we didn't have a phone and
I
you
was
just have
na-
to find your way. That may be the difference.
I was a
You just have to
navigating-
ask someone which direction is this and then hope that they will tell you the truth.
Possibly so. Okay.
One thing about being lost, I remember this very well. Mr. Peter Kent, me and Andrew and Peter, on the 79 when we used to be little, we were about 15, 16, going on bush rides. Peter got us lost in Netherley.
Oh.
Remember that, Peter?
I do.
We were all having thoughts of running the gauntlet. Or
What's that?
What do you mean?
See,
thinking we're going to have to walk. We were, at the time, let's say, not
accepted.
minority
as hard of a
friendly.
state. Yeah. So what are some of the things then we done in the 90s that was sick? That
One thing that I said, and I put this in
Playing
our
wrestling.
group,
The kids still play wrestling?
one of the things I remember from being a kid, obviously, you had things like the Lemonade Man,
Yeah,
you had the Video Man.
Yeah,
It was just a
Yeah,
a simple
Yeah.
Video
time.
shop was shit.
Yeah, a video
Yeah.
shop. And
Swap shop.
I mentioned this the Video Man like to you in it, and like it sort of killed the innocence of me a little bit. Like when we were kids, you'd see like the fellas coming to this fella turn up with like a battered ass Sierra with a boot full of fucking not even DVDs, VHS. So like he'd pull up, he'd open the boot, and then everyone would flock out,
yeah.
and there'd be these fellas going over there, and he'd be going away from the boot and to the back seat of his car and coming out with like a bag with these these videos in,
Yeah.
and then this fella would, nice one, and get off. It's only as you get older you realise that what that man was getting was some grade A VHS porn.
Yeah, standard. The back seat we went allowed. Our Video Man, he was 2 for some reason. I had one on Huskisson Street and one when we moved up to Smithdown Lane. Both nice and friendly. They're like proper salesmen, aren't they?
Yeah.
But you couldn't touch the fucking back seat, or you'd get left shot as a kid. You knew not. You don't go by the back seat.
Yeah.
I think the Lemonade Man's big. I'm gonna say the ice cream van because
The ice cream van. Does
Still
anyone?
come
Yeah,
on.
can I
Is that
throw
all
this
around?
out? Does
No,
anyone
is
remember
that all
the
online
Candy
now?
Floss Man?
the candy floss man.
yeah,
He was.
he had
was
a belt. He
nonsense.
did. He
He was,
had
that
a
that
belt.
was like a rape van that he was driving.
red
That red
candy,
one with
yeah.
the white top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Candy
The-
floss written on it in children's blood.
The entry, the entry that I next my first girl in is boarded up now. So yeah,
And you
can't
walk
do that
past
no
it
more.
like in there like that. We first
Yeah, that's on my
Climbing.
street.
Tezza, like playing footy in the street. Them things now.
But this is a thing of society. Like when I was a kid,
The big
this is me compared to like my little brother who's like 15 years younger. Me and all me brother Warden, we'd go bush rides.
Yeah.
We'd go to Speak. We were little tearaway latchkey kids, you know what I mean? We used to go climbing on the bell tower. I remember the worst thing we done, we climbed on streets by ours and houses and threw slates at passing cars. Which is, but now
Fun
like
pastime.
if I speak to my brother, like manhunt in the
They
street,
don't do that now.
they
no?
don't do nothing, they stay in the rooms, they still have mates, but it's all online, they just play games online and speak to each other.
By ours, there was
Really?
like
Yeah. So they don't
burnt
do all
out
that shit.
houses, like that were like shops and that was just been burnt down. And the bondies.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, in Bondi.
You used to go in the bondies and see what was in there and that, like, and you
I had
wouldn't
a friend-
Is that
reject
not a thing
anyone
now?
now.
That's
I don't
not a
think
thing?
so, no.
Shit.
I took
Well, it's just standard
Kurtis
stuff.
to the park and there's just like
Breaking an
that we can
incident.
climb. And he didn't. I know he's only 4, but I was telling the other kids as well, and they were like, "What's a den?" I was
I
like,
don't know.
"You don't know what a den is."
Bondi and stuff like that.
Yeah, you go into your Bondi. I had a friend who used to, he'd go into Bondis and they'd have pets and they'd put pictures
What?
on the wall. He'd have couches. His Bondis were like,
Like the
Yeah, our
the
Bondi had a
creme de la
butler.
creme of
his were the Hiltons of Bondis, like.
Are you sure this guy just went like staying in there? You know what I mean?
This is a Bondi.
Yeah.
Don't mind me, mum.
No, he used to, and anyone,
Family pictures.
there used to be like Bondi wars, because, you know, their Bondis were better, you'd go and rob their couch from their Bondi, but these are all things that I don't think would go on today with the kids.
And is that necessarily a bad thing? It doesn't go on. Having your kids walking around,
No,
the
We used to play.
dilapidated.
it's
I
not gonna
grew
be-
up right next to the railway, you know, like we used to play on the railway.
I played
Yeah,
on
going
railway.
on a rail.
Nah.
Everyone's
Nah,
I think
I
been on a
haven't.
railway.
No way.
My ma's gonna slap me if she hears this.
I was Fingal, there was no way. I was too much of a shitbag. You just knew.
We used to do something as well. Remember going to like the docks where the tide had went out, and then just climb down onto the clay
mud
kind of.
Standing
Yeah.
on the side of the
Yeah.
railings of the.
Used
Cause
to
I
do
grew up right next to the
all
water.
kinds of
Speaking
stuff.
of the lemonade man, like, did you ever get a ride on the back of it?
No.
I think where you can hold.
You used to live in a close, innit?
Yeah.
Like in our street, like we used to live on Waves Road, big long street, and when the lemonade man came, like he'd stop down the bottom, and then like he'd have like a half open back of the
Yeah,
van,
yeah.
and as he's driving, just leg it behind the van, jump on the back,
Yeah.
and just get a little
Who remembers
ride on
the
the back
toss?
until he starts rattling on that window. Fucking
Get off. Who remembers the tuck man? Did anyone have that? Like Ron Dixon out of Brookside.
What, sweets and
So
that.
he drive was like a blue van. Then you remember Tuck? Was
Yeah,
it Tuck?
I remember the
Sweets,
tuck shop
sweets.
in
Yeah,
Wales.
it was like a van. He'd come along. He had a little window in the side, or the back would pull up, and it was like a little corner shop.
They had puppies in there.
Whatever happened to these people? That's what I
Yeah.
sometimes.
Paedophile-
What happens to no?
Child Protection
No, I'm,
Services.
I'm saying what happened to the video shop, the video man
Well, they
when DVDs came out, or they thought what they're obviously entrepreneurs, so where did they go? That's a
They would have done the same with DVDs, I think.
But then the internet.
but where was he, Peter?
Yeah,
Because
I
after the
don't remember
videos,
the
you didn't see him.
changing.
No, they moved. I know they moved on to chipping games.
Yeah, I always remember people chipping.
Yeah, I remember
games,
chipping
Chipped
games.
Fennel was like the master for chipped games. I weren't allowed to get my PS4. I weren't allowed to get
Yeah.
my PlayStation chipped, but she didn't want to pay full price for the games. So basically, I had this.
Yeah, not.
Yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place, playing demos.
Yeah, Fennel had.
I remember
Did he do it, did he?
I remember I used to go to Fennels just to watch him play Resident Evil.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
a kid in
shit
our
like
school
that.
called Sumed who used to say he could. Hope he doesn't listen to this. He used to say he could chip games, chip stuff. People would pay him, and then people would have him made. No, people end up having murder with him because things were getting chipped, and they were getting, but he was getting paid for it.
What else then do we think that will change it a bit? That we'd like our kids to experience from the 90s. This is going to sound silly, but I want them to get chased.
Playing out, like.
Yeah, playing out is the big thing.
Feel the thrill of being that. Oh my god, if I
Yeah,
get caught,
this
yeah.
social
Lads,
skills are being.
The thing
killed.
is, though,
The
it's all,
character building.
the chase is amazing, but I've been caught. You know what I mean?
Get caught by-
I've been
For the
caught.
reasons of this pod, I'm not going to go into that, but I've been caught, and I've felt firsthand the pain of being caught, mate. So I don't want anyone to
You
be
want a better
caught. Like,
life for your kids.
yeah.
what I would say is though, when you say, you know, do you want your kids to experience playing out and stuff, that obviously kids haven't changed. Kids are kids, so it's parents and society.
It's the paedophile scare and
It's,
stuff
yeah,
like
so
that.
now people won't let the kids. I remember being like 9. There'd be like kids
What
younger
age?
than us. There'd be maybe a kid or 2 older than me, and there'd be like a gang of us, 10 of us.
Yeah.
We'd go to the park.
Yeah.
Outside everyone's sight. No one. We
Yeah.
live about 10 minutes away from the park. No
That was the
parents.
same
No
for
parents
us.
there. Now, would I let my son go
But you know
with,
what's
with a
mad?
gang of kids? No way.
You know what's mad? The security measures now in terms of being able to identify where the child is. FaceTime. This phone.
Yeah, your
Now
technology.
the technology now is
Where's my iPhone and all that?
yeah.
You can
Where,
check
and you
where
can
it
even get
is.
apps
But
now.
the thing is,
That will track
though,
the phone.
it's about perception, isn't it?
Of what?
Back then, things are seen as safer. There's not more
Where did
there's
that-
not more risk. No, I'm saying it's
Yeah.
not. There's
Nah,
not
but-
more risk now than then. It's more because of the way you get information. Everything that happens in the world, you're bombarded with it.
Yeah.
So now it seems there's more risk. You can't let your kids out of the sight.
I
You
think
hear
it'll be
every
difficult for me because of where I live, because I grew up in an area where you just play out on the street.
Yeah, yeah.
Car would come down the street, someone would yell car.
Yeah,
Everyone would get on the side.
Sure, there was someone's
Car
job.
would go, exactly, who's this kid up
Yeah,
there?
in the chimney car.
You get on the side, the car would go past, back to playing Kirby or whatever, you
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? And then I live on like a fucking dual carriageway, don't I? So
Yeah,
where
yeah.
am I going to let them out there?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard, lad, so it's all dependent on all kinds of little things.
Yeah, but I let him play out.
But even the thing I remember with your kids and like playing footy in the street, and then people complain, no board games,
Lad,
and then
we used to use people's cars as goals.
Yeah, yeah.
suddenly, you know, I just think as I
Bad
said,
habit,
it's
innit?
like
Like the wheel of 2 cars,
You don't-
either side
just
of the
kicking at
road.
the
and
car.
just- yeah.
Yeah. Anything else before we move on?
Yeah, so just things. What about just things that we think were better in the 90s than that like
Yeah, general
hip-hop,
things.
fucking wrestling, shit like that. It was all better than man. Games were better. Computer games.
Yeah.
I can't agree. I can't agree with Gary.
Well, the
Films,
thing is-
films were good in the 90s. Cause
yeah, but I don't
Goodfellas,
think
yeah, and all
I
that.
think films is just one of them.
Nah,
It
what?
doesn't get better.
I'm only
There's
messing
always
with
great films. There's
Mm.
always poor films. That's the thing. When you
But
when you think-
if you did compare though, like which one?
no, but that's
I
just
think
all
the 90s
personal.
stands up pretty well to other decades, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but in films, I don't think the 90s is that seen as like
90s
the
something good, like
with the
Quentin
80s or the
Tarantino.
70s are seen as like
But in the 90s, you got some good films.
You could
Goodfellas
compare
and
a film
yeah.
though from the 90s, which did like the remakes. And I know you're gonna with the effects and stuff. It's hard to do, but the Freddy's. Oh no, that wasn't the 90s.
the thing is though with the like Freddy's, you got to what you got to think of when it comes to things like Freddy. It's easy to watch a remake of it and go, oh, it's not as good. But bear in mind you were about 6 or 7 when you watched it.
Yeah,
the
no,
first time.
I
So
like
it's a,
it.
it's a completely different. You know, your
You're
mind's
taking
different.
from it.
What I would say when it comes to like games, I just can't see the argument that games are better based on anything.
Nah,
You know,
fair enough.
I liked them as a kid. You know,
I
there's
think what is better now
Don't
for
make Mario
games.
no more.
I think what's better for the games now is the online factor, which kind
Oh,
of
that's
ties
good,
in to what we're saying about the kids. The fact that you can now, you know, this thing where we'd have to, if someone had a computer, someone always got the PS first, so you'd have to
That
get
weren't me.
go out. Yeah, weren't me
Yeah,
neither.
me.
You'd have to go out and play it. Now the fact that you can do it, you know, sitting on your bed with a headset, that's like
Yeah, talking to
that's
whoever.
unbelievable. And we
Yeah.
were still doing it as 21, 24-year-old, 25-year-old men. So
when they should
I
have been
haven't, I
out.
haven't done that, you know, played games like that, but it does look sick.
yeah,
But, like,
it's amazing.
you're on a headphone trash talking to your opponent, isn't it?
Yeah, the lobbies are to get in some of these lobbies, mate.
Nah, but there's like the market for like pro gaming and people who thought they were pro gamers, like when Andrew banged on the
yeah.
headset, like he used to bark orders like a military, like
Yeah, but that's the funny side of it, though, lad.
Like,
People,
what's this?
Andrew wanted to be in the army, so when he played COD and he put that headset on, he was putting his uniform on.
army,
lived
yeah.
it,
And I'd
like
be like, grenade! And he'd use all phrases. He'd
the
use phrases.
flanking us. It's a pincer.
You'd use phrases that were like, "Oh, go away." We're just trying to, but you get people in there that are like that.
But there's money on it now, isn't it?
Yeah.
People can make all that. But
So
That's mad.
swiftly moving on, and I think this is probably going to be largely Well, you're free.
Banter thing, isn't it?
I was going to leave that till the last, because
Okay,
that's a bit, we can start ripping each other's kids then. The situation in North Korea,
Yeah.
and I think it would be beneficial to start with Giorgio to give a snapshot of North Korea and
The situation at the moment.
So
What
just
is,
the-
what is still developing,
So,
really.
before George goes into it, the situation like which is in the news at the moment is North Korean regime is firing missiles over like Japan.
Yeah.
It's basically making threats.
Swinging the dick.
Yeah, they've built nuclear weapons and they're saying they've got, you know, the hydrogen bomb and stuff like that. But so that's what we're hearing, you know, in the news. So we basically got told this guy's crazy, this guy's a threat, he needs to be taken out.
Yeah.
So
seen before.
What are we on about, What are
Giorgio.
we on about fucking
Well,
Johns?
But the difference is Trump can't get taken out. So Giorgio, can you just add a bit of backstory?
Yeah,
please,
so
sir?
okay, so to me, the media clearly has to be biased because all that we're being told is North Korea are being aggressive to its neighbours who are American allies, Japan and stuff like that. So if we're starting the story at this point, just now, this is in the news, then that has to be biased because there's more to it than that. So what do you want me to go into the whole thing?
No, just
Just be as quick as I can.
Go into your basic. I'd like you to
So
go into
okay,
your
yeah. So if
perspective.
Yeah, your
if
perspective.
Japan, if North Korea is being aggressive, so firing a rocket into the sea, they're not trying to hit them.
But it went over the line.
Okay, yeah. So it's flexing their military muscle, isn't it? Saying
We can
flexing the
hit-
military. We can hit
if
you,
we
yeah. So if that's happened to them, then you need to see that same thing is happening to North Korea on a much larger scale. So the situation that occurs now has its roots in let me get it all right, yeah. So in World War II, Korea wasn't north or south, it was just Korea, yeah. It was occupied by Japan. Japan were basically the Nazis of Asia, yeah. They were
the empire. Man.
they were treating China and Korea brutally, yeah. So there's a communist-led rebellion at the time, led by Kim Il-sung, the granddad of the guy who's in power now, to evict these oppressors from the land. When Japan lost World War II along with the Nazis, there was an effort by the communists in Korea to unite the country after it had been like war-torn and ravaged.
Partition.
Yeah, no, hadn't been part. This is just before the partition, yeah.
Okay.
So like 1945, end of World War II, and that's led by Stalin and Mao, the communists, yeah, and the communists who supporting Kim Il-sung. So they started the process of like confiscating Japanese property and to use it for the no, I mean, I'm not saying it's good or bad. If we think this is a bad model to create a new country, then that's fair enough. The Americans came in and, along with the Russians, the Americans put a stop to this process, partitioned the country. The top half became the North, which is backed up by the Soviets and the Chinese. The South was backed up by the American military, and they, for as bad as Kim Il-sung might have been, there was popular support for socialist revolution in Korea at the time, North and South on the whole Korean peninsula. What there was no support for was what America did, which is flew in a guy from America, a Korean guy called Syngman Rhee, to become the dictator in the south of Korea. And right away they put a stop to this process of like popular revolt that was going on. Brought in lackeys, Korean lackeys who had collaborated with the Japanese over in the colonial period. Brought them in to be the runners of the administration in the south of Korea, and started carrying out the American military along with the new South Korean military. Started carrying out large-scale massacres of people who were suspected communists. There's a couple of if people are listening, they want to Google it. There's a couple of well-known massacres. One was called the No Gun Re Massacre, and the other one was Jeju Island, an island in the south, where they started massacring people because there was support for socialism and communism in this area. Then America put a military base in south of Korea in the exact same location where the Japanese one was before. That base is still there today. That's the old Japanese base. And then they started arming all their friends in the area, like Japan, with nuclear. These are all nuclear armed states. After the country's been partitioned, they've took half the country. And then they invaded the country, which was the Korean War, 1950 to 1953, flattened the whole of North Korea. And then they spent the next 2 decades or so pulverising any socialist states around in the area, like Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. So, if firing a rocket into the sea after all this is aggressive, then surely we've got to be talking about the bigger aggression.
So what you're saying is basically...
I'm saying America's the aggressor. There's no two ways about it.
But bringing it up to today, what you're saying is
So
this is a response.
It's a response, yeah.
To historical...
Yeah, but not historical, this has been going on for decades. So every single year now, in this context that I've just told you, every single year, American army carries out a military drill to flex its own muscle on the border of North Korea. So if someone's flexing their muscle,
North
it's
Korea
not...
does their own drills as well, doesn't it? In response.
I'm not saying that North Korea is acting aggressive, though. I'm saying there's only one side that's more aggressive. So if we're bothered about stopping North Korea, we've got to be more bothered about stopping America.
We're speaking though about like North Korea, America. If I'm a Japanese guy, I'm looking up and missiles are flying over my country.
Yeah,
I'm not really going, okay, how do we solve this, and go, well, America's the aggressor. I'm worried about what's going to happen to our country, you know what I mean? So I know to a point. I know what you can. I know your argument. It's spot on that America's the aggressor, or has been the aggressor. But North Korea doing this, it's like obviously these countries can't allow it a nuclear powered state to be firing missiles. How can it be resolved without him still being empowered? It seems to have got to a point now where, because of the sanctions and stuff, and because of the historic's been going on for 60 years or so, we're at a point where there is no resolution now where it can be done diplomatically. Would you agree?
I kind of might disagree with that. Well, I think it should at least be tried, which it isn't. So, I take that point, what you're saying. If I'm in Japan and rockets are being fired towards my country, I will think non-rationally and hysterically and think, fuck, this guy needs to be dealt with. That's only natural. But if we were able to, if we're us outside of Japan now can sit down and look at it logically, what is in the best interest to have that stop and happen to Japan is for America to stop bullying this third world country, and then that will stop. North Korea, no one's defending the regime. It doesn't have an expansionist policy. It doesn't want to invade Japan and take over Japan. This is purely a response, purely a response to the decades of what's been going on. There is no like, it's not like. So, for example, sanctions on North Korea. What are sanctions? Aren't there to hurt the regime. They've only ever strengthened regimes and hurt people.
They hurt people who the pop.
They only hurt the pop. I mean, the people who put these sanctions in place aren't silly or we've made mistakes. They know what they're doing. These people run the world.
Isn't the idea that if
they want to be friendly to the North Korean people against the regime, the first thing to do is release sanctions that are hurting the people, and import some food or something. If the people are starving and we care about that, let's take sanctions off and help them. What Kim Jong-un isn't just going to eat all the food on his own.
No, but the thing is, what you're saying there is,
he's going to.
You've got to think of things practically. You can't say, okay, they're firing weapons now, whether justified or not. So what we're going to do in response is lift sanctions. And we're going to give them food. No, but I'm just saying, it's about deception. If a country does that, you're acting aggressively, you're firing missiles. But what we'll do in response is show you that we're not aggressive, and we'll lift sanctions.
But the media could do a lot to help this by talking about the whole thing and explaining
what I would say as well, another point for you,
and then perception would be changed.
If you say, it's all to do with the aggression that the US has led over the years, why is it came to a point now where they're firing missiles, etc.? Is that not his own position within his country
No.
is not as solid, so he's actually acting out as a show of force. It's all, you know,
Don't-
it's two sides. Like, is he not, because is this the worst ever aggression that's ever been shown basically towards North Korea? Not, it's more of the same. So why is
Donald
this?
Trump's come in, he's really all this has happened since Donald Trump has came in, hasn't it?
It's ramped
It's
up
him,
since
yeah.
then, yeah.
It's him that's ramping up. One thing I just want to say just before you come in that I didn't say, this thing, I think it's a misconception that it will be good for North Korean people if they get attacked, purely because, right, we have this thing where, oh, the people in North Korea must be dying for Americans to come in and to save them from this regime, right? But you see, you got to understand, because of all this what I've just said, North Korea, the government is a paranoid, security mad, fucking crazy regime where all it does constantly is educates its people through brainwashing and propaganda about how bad the Americans were when they fucking destroyed the country in the 50s, right? If America comes in and attacks this country again and invades and says, no matter how much it says, we're coming in to save you,
Yeah, the
these
people are gonna
people
see
are
that
gonna
as,
fucking
yeah,
fight
look,
it. These people are gonna go
all
crazy for
we've
their
been told
leader.
since
Yeah,
the day one.
Exactly.
I agree with that point.
To
and,
the point,
and it'll be a disaster.
Do you think
They
though
will take up arms against the country. They'll take up arms against the Americans, not against the. They're not going to go, oh yeah, we agree with
Does
this.
it not depend on the conditions? Surely, if the people are on, depends on how badly. In a normal situation, I'd agree with that. But if these people are struggling to eat and stuff like that, you don't think they're disillusioned with the government at all? Loads of people get taken away to them internment camps.
They get brainwashed a lot about how, listen, it was worse before, this system has give you this, has give you that. You know, they get brainwashed with that.
I don't know what the
massively,
best policy would be, but what I will say is, surely they'd be better off without Kim Jong-un.
Of course, yeah. Sorry, it's not
'Cause,
defending him. Yeah.
Like the whole thing of like Korea and America, there's no way of disputing that America have been an aggressor over the years, and they'll continue to do that. Obviously, they want to put someone in place there
Who's going to do
that's going to be better for them.
I think it'd be
Then-
best for the China. Think it'd be best for the North Koreans if China actually disposed them.
China
That'd
do
be-
need to do
that'd
it.
be good, wouldn't it?
China
Yeah.
do
Because
need
then
to do
you
it,
can't argue
But-
with America.
but they won't, because they want someone there who is
They're
aggressive towards America. The Chinese and the Russians, they want someone who's going to be sort of taking the flack from the Americans, the public face
Yeah.
of like basically anger towards America, and Korea fit that bill perfectly because they've got a madman there who's just shouting off.
Yeah, it's
every
a
week.
lot of politics being played by like China's probably the best way of sorting
They
it
could
out,
probably
yeah.
just go in there and just get rid
They
of
could just
and
say
then
we're not
put
giving you
whoever.
food, and then that would be it,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
because China's there's own support of anything, really.
But they're
sorry.
not going to do that.
I
because
agree with what you're
obviously-
saying, Peter. He needs to go. Like he's
Yeah.
he's not.
Obviously, no one's saying that there's the situation with Trump is the best either, but you know.
Okay, hi guys, I am here.
Sorry, keep-
No worries, because it's got a bit deep then. I think we're going to move it on to the next topic.
Well, did you have anything to say about?
No,
that? No.
I didn't.
He hasn't got a clue.
I haven't got it. I haven't. It was just
Haven't got it,
interesting
yeah.
to listen to everyone about the subject. The last one we're going to do now is, when does banter become too far? And why this is in here, because over the years my mum was not the subject of I grew up in stages, so I grew up with Aaron a lot up until we went to secondary school, and then we obviously your mates widen because you meet new people in the bigger school. So I'd say I grew up till 10, then I went to secondary school, which is another 5 years. But then when I got to about 19, 20, started working, and then your mates grows again. So for me, there's 3 stages of friendship.
Personal development.
Yeah. And my mum was not brought in, or it wasn't accepted. Yeah.
Is this like a statement of this better
No,
stuff?
it's just shocking. It's like, what the fuck's going on? How have we got to this? It's
I'll
like,
tell you.
So wait, so my mum was not the subject of like
Banter. with the
banter
lads.
up until I was probably about 25, and I still was like, nah, hang on, that's too far. But it's gone so much now that it's been accepted. Now we've got children, okay, which we all love dearly. Now I don't know. I mean, me and Ryan went at it the other day. Things were said, and I thought, maybe that's a bit far because I don't want this to become commonplace. There's a few people in our group, which I'll give you an example of, and I'm not going to say his name. He knows who he was. My son was, I don't think he was walking, he was 1, and I brought him here, funnily enough, and Ryan was playing the computer with someone. I was like, oh, there's boss, whatever. As I was walking out, someone went to me son, do you want me to bang your dad? Dilemma head. Now, laugh at the joke. Now, how far does this banter go?
Yeah, that's...
And then, you know,
my thing on this case is when it came to family and stuff. Obviously, from Toxteth, when I was a kid, this was like in primary school. You could rip each other, but as soon as you heard the word "your mum,"
Yeah,
it was
that's
on
fighting.
sight.
Yeah,
It was on sight. But what I would say is similar to you, Kurtis. You know, you'd have different stages. When I started hanging around with Peter and Nathan, and I heard them going in on each other's nans, that's when I knew.
That's a different level.
It opened up and thank you for it, Peter and Nathan. It opened up a whole new world of possibilities, which I have jumped in with 2 feet first.
It's disrespectful, I think.
No, the thing is, right,
It depends on the person as well.
we're mates. I know everything that's being said is said in jest. Or I
It's
hope.
not. When people are calling people's man snakehead, that's not right.
Who was that?
And those I used to hear this figure called Snakehead,
Like she was the head of the Chinese mafia.
and it's like, because you know what? Maybe I am a bit
Racist,
emotional, but when it comes to nans, like my nan's not here anymore, and I was very close to a lad, so you can't start. You know, maybe that's not for the banter thing, but mums are. So what are we saying is acceptable?
Nah, the thing is, right.
It depends on
See,
the
with
person.
me and Nathan, I've known Nathan since what we was in like fucking
Nursery.
nursery. So we've grown up together and fucking we've ripped each other all the way through that. So for me, it's just like water off a duck's back. It's nothing, you know what I mean?
So
It's nothing personal. It's just one of them insults that like is funny.
I have to be honest, like I was shit with that when I was like, because I used to get shit over my name, obviously, and I just end up in fucking fights all the time.
no, that's the thing. As you were kids, it was like a thing. Someone skipped your mum, as you say. It was like, all right, let's have it then, and then you'd have a scrap over that. Just someone skitting your mum. But then
Not even
it's sort
your mum, just saying your mum.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're
exactly.
a dickhead, your mum is. That was it. On sight.
and I just think children, because as I
No,
said,
but like there's a line in the sand in it, like
yeah, but where is it
Yeah,
though?
but
Because
I don't know.
It's
the,
like
the sort of thing with me. I wouldn't start going in on like Giorgo's nan or your nan for some reason. I think it's because me and Nathan have known each other for so
And you
long.
know each other family. You know each
Yeah,
other's
yeah.
family.
yeah, but
So,
I've known Aaron.
But that's
probably
a
the
different.
same.
It's a different culture, isn't it?
Clinton, I've known Clinton since to say me and Clinton are like him and Nathan. There was no way we would be saying, "Oh, your nan's snakehead," or you know, your nan this. It's like we wouldn't be, because you know why it's bad, because this is what I do, yeah, as adults, and this is what these must be doing. You're bringing these people into your home, so right now, you're on site for certain things for the banter thing. You know what I mean? So when you're taking these people to round your nan, they're looking at her hair or think, oh, well, look, no, what I mean?
I know what you're saying. Like you're basically weighing it up as which part of this can I make into a joke.
Yeah.
That is the mindset as well. You know,
Yeah,
like
but it's about being, you know, you get onto certain things, don't you?
Ricky gets it for the what's bad about Ricky?
let's not any dirty laundry over the podcast here, because that's not a great way of handling it. So I'd let you just dial that one back.
I think personally, like Kurtis, you can take a joke. So you know, yeah, Jackie, she gets a bit of it sometimes, but then you rip like mine. But it's
No,
like,
no.
I wouldn't rip I wouldn't rip Giorgio's, I wouldn't rip Abby's. It just depends on the
It
people.
depends on the people.
Like Kyle gets it loads.
Kyle
He gets it loads, so it all depends on the person, like.
You know who's gonna take something to heart and you know who's not. You know.
And then it depends on when you say we rip each other's minds. Like, you know, if someone says something and I say, "Oh, I was at your Mars yesterday," it's not that. That's
No,
not it. That's
one
not
of our
it is,
mates
is it?
has said to someone, I seen your mum winding on a yardie in the Caribbean. See, that's...
So is it different if it's something personal?
yeah,
like,
that's what it is. So
So
what
that's just a generic.
what the question is are kids out of this thing? Because when babies are born, they look funny, you know.
All babies are like.
So, like,
potatoes
what's
when
the
they're
thing?
born.
What's the thing there? You know what I mean? I told these that Kurtis was asking. Kurtis was asking certain questions, and they were thrown back to me.
After you attacked my son.
No, you attacked. No, you.
No, you went
No,
first.
I don't think this is gonna work here because without disclosing what was actually said, you two going no, but you. That's not gonna.
I think personally, it's gone too far. I think when you start bringing people's kids into it, and this might sound bad, especially daughters.
Nah,
It's not a joke.
I don't agree with insulting the children. You know what I mean? There's no call for that. And again, like, you can give someone shit over the bed. Like, I've had it, you know what I mean?
Nah.
Someone's given me shit over the bed for apparently locking me away and that
Oh,
type
yeah,
of thing,
that's-
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's the
That's
thing,
standard banter,
That's
you
man
know
who were
what I mean?
locked up.
But you
Give
can't
that shit
go,
out.
you can't just dive in and start, like, I don't know, maybe saying something like on a personal level. Like,
Look at your
get
kid's
on
nose.
the size of your bird's feet. You know what I mean? You can't do anything like that, and just obviously not that, but something on a personal level. You can't insult like that type of thing. And,
Okay.
But apparently Nans are on site.
Nah, Nans is a disrespectful thing. It's too much that. Okay, I think we're done there. Anything else that we want to add in to round up?
Was
the
there any
topics?
other topics that were in the offing?
No, I think that was it.
That was it.
No, so again we'll just sort of
Look out for us.
see
Yeah.
the reaction to this, see if it does
Is there
well.
anything that you would want us to talk about, please
Coming to
say?
SoundCloud near you.
Any girls who want me to talk about stuff, I'll post my phone number in the DM me. Go ahead, take it